A very good evening and welcome to Sunday edition of Big Talker program where we highlight political issues around Nigeria. A very good evening. Happy Sunday once again. My name is Ubongo Sora in Abuja and I'm saying welcome to the program. Tonight on the program we will be talking about political accountability and we have joining us to help make sense of the discussion will be Ibrahim Gwosu. He was chairman, board of director of Federal Institute of Industrial Research, a former chairman, Land Use and Allocation Committee in Kano, former commissioner for finance, commissioner for environment, commissioner for budget, and also commissioner for commerce, and also the former chairman CPC Kano State joining us live on the program tonight. Let's go for a short break, and when we're back, we'll get to talk about political accountability and citizen trust in Nigeria today. All right, welcome back. So now let's get to the discussion for tonight, promoting accountability, promoting transparency and citizen trust. Thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Soro. Good evening, my viewers and listeners worldwide.
Right. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
I finally see you. And I also forgot that you are the patron of the APC Northwest Support Group.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
Right.
National coordinator for
the
Northwest. But let's get to talk about political transparency now.
Okay.
Is it true that politicians can be transparent? You are a politician, a leader, a former party chairman in Kano, and we know Kano is very strategic to Nigerian politics.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mr. Soro, thank you for the question, but let me also, before anything, appreciate the Global TV for the invitation. And you see, if things will go right, like you're talking about accountability and any other thing, the three arms of government, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, if there is the number 4, it should be the media. Because the media should help align, educate, and help to carry along everybody for their support. When I came in, I was looking at the vision of Global TV. It impressed me. So I aligned with your vision to be the beacon of trust, credibility, and professionalism in news, current affairs, and the in-depth analysis of tropical issues nationally and around the world. That is a very good vision. Now, accountability. When you say accountability, you are saying people, government, everybody should be accountable. We are all accountable in whatever we do. And unless you do that, unless you achieve that, you will continue to have problem. Corruption will set in, everything will start going in this area. You see, let me also use this opportunity to condole on the death of Sheikh Dahir Usman Bauchi, an Islamic cleric, a man of refuge over 100 years, about 100 children, and a lot of, maybe millions of followers. Let me also recall the meeting, the World Press Conference we had on the 18th November, through my association, the RNSP, all registered North-South Progressives. In that press conference at the Tinubu Support Group office, we reviewed the entire program of the Tinubu administration. I don't want to repeat that again. Now, when you say corruption and when you say accountability, what brings corruption is lack of accountability. Accountability enhances accounting for all monies entrusted and all assignments, all schedules, all matters of public trust. Now, it is an ongoing thing, though very, very tedious. And Mr. President has been doing a lot. The correction fight had been there, anchored by the ICPC, the CPC, and others at all the levels. Of course, there are delays in courts of law, but many have undergone prosecution. There are many that have undergone the plea bargain processes and whatever. I don't want to mention name. I even appreciate that there is going to be a specific court to try cases of corruption because the courts are jammed, packed, and it's not going the way it should go. That is a very good idea. Billions of money had been recovered, billions, and they have been returned into the treasury.
To be reluted, returned to be reluted, because during President Buhari's tenure, we heard a lot about cases where refunds were made. But some Nigerians continued questioning the source. Yes, the monies are recovered, but is it recovered to be reluted?
You see, Mr. Soro, if you look at the issue, the people engaged in corrupt processes or looting or any crime are always in habit of devising new techniques. And so the government or authority should always go after them. If you look at the revenue accruable to the states because of the subsidy removal, fuel subsidy removal, the revenue tripled, right, sometimes quadrupled. Now, if you look at the state budgets, state governments have started budgeting now for the year 2026. My state, Kano, the governor budgeted over 1 trillion naira. From 500, 600 million, over 1 trillion. Why? Because there is increased revenue generation because of the fuel subsidy. The subsidy that was looted, now it is back into the treasury, back for development, back to states, back to federal government, and back to local government. My only worry is that the governors have refused to allow local governments to be. And that is very serious. The 774 local governments could not get the right thing that was due to them because of so-called joint account. And that is not
right. So I'd like to ask now, as somebody who's been in public office, can we say truly that public officials in Nigeria have been prudent with public funds? Or are public officials in Nigeria using public funds as how they want, or as to how they want to use it anytime? Over time, over the years, have public officials been accountable and over?
You see, it is like a cancer. It is cancerous, and you cannot tame it completely. There are various reducible minimum, stages where you can say, okay, it is okay. And I think Mr. President is trying, he's going toward that. So for funds to be reluted after they have been recovered. You see, I understand it is reducing. The problem you have is where some governors or some ministers or some officials, even in the National Assembly, are spending excessively, maybe through foreign travels. I don't like the way foreign travels were being, undertaken in Nigeria. Governors will carry a big entourage, spend millions of, like in Kano, about 5 billion was spent in 6 months, just because the governor was looking for investment and it wasn't forthcoming. So why that? So there is so much to it than even you are saying. But the corruption fight is an ongoing thing. as they devise means, as they go in, the EFCC, the ICPC, and the others are after them. I cannot tell you it is non-existent. It cannot, there is no day that will say is tolerance zero corruption, no, honestly. But the efforts are commendable, particularly when the special courts started. Special courts on trial of corrupt official, I think it will be a good thing, Mr. Osoro.
All right, so what systems are in place in Nigeria to ensure transparency over the years?
What system?
Yes.
I don't know what you mean by what system. You see, when you have EFCC and the ICPC and the others, and all the courts, relevant courts, are doing their job, when there is even immediate plan to have a special court to try cases of this nature, what remains is compliance. What remains is due diligence. What remains is real prosecution. Avoid the delays. So it is an ongoing thing. Like I said, you cannot wake up one day and say it is entirely removed.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about understanding accountability. We're still trying to explain that to us. But it seems that political office holders in Nigeria, the political officials is one sector that a lot of Nigerians point to as to where we see a lot of corruption, because the amount and figures that are rolled out as alleged, corrupt figures in every regime. We will talk about 1999, at least since the return to democracy. 1999 to 2007, remember the former IGP of police and all of that. Maybe I'll just state some cases that we know. In 2007, when Yar'Adua came in and all of that, Goodluck Jonathan took over. Remember former Minister of Petroleum. Till today, there are cases that the EFCC says she has not answered to, and a lot of other persons in that regime. The former, the man you supported at the time, President Muhammadu Buhari, late President Muhammadu Buhari, even in his tenure, there were a lot of corrupt practices. Even when that government came in on the fulcrum of fighting corruption, insecurity, and economy. So it seems corruption is actually one disease that follows party upon party, regime upon regime.
Yeah, you're right. You see, it is a generalized thing. It is an endemic. It is everywhere. I was thinking you will ask how to avoid putting the wrong people in place.
We'll come to that. Yeah,
well, very good. You see, let me tell you, just recently, an investigative journalist by name Jackson Ude reported an oil deal sales scandal of high-profile people. I don't want to mention names. We are not here to mention names. $75 million is involved. 25 million of that money was recovered. And if you hear the name of the people, you'll be surprised. So our problem is information. It is there, it is on. Maybe the opposition are trying to play it down. But a lot of efforts have been underway. Okay, another one. There was a minister of science and technology just recently that was dropped. What he did was corruption, because certificate of forgery certificate is corruption.
But was not prosecuted.
It's a scandal. No, I don't know about that, but at least the fact that he is dropped, you may not know whether he's undergoing the process of prosecution. So you see, it's me and you. We all have to do it. If I tell you it's everywhere, you will believe me. It's everywhere, and it's unfortunate. Where rule of law is having issues, where you have the problem. I think, you see, we're on it, the government is on it, and it's just starting. If I say it's just starting, you don't expect something that happened for the last 16 years of the PDP, and maybe, like you said, some of it during the 8 years of the late President Muhammadu Buhari, all of it now to go down in 2 years or 2.5 years. It's a process, it's an ongoing process.
As a former commissioner for finance in Kano,
Yes.
you oversaw budgeting, revenue, allocation, and expenditure framework. From your experience, what are the major challenges preventing financial transparency in Nigerian states and even in ministries, departments, and agencies of government?
Okay, you see, there are parameters whereby budget compliance should be insist, budget implementation, monitoring. It's not just like you budget and you allow spending spree just like that. Sometimes, like I told you, those that are supposed to be the custodians of those resources are the ones. You see, if you indulge in corruption, it is because public resources are entrusted in you.
Right.
So if it is in public places, don't be surprised, because that is where action is, that is where money is. But you see, punishment at the right time would have been the best thing, and prosecution. And like I said, rule of law to be maintained so that you don't exercise delay. Look at what is happening, taking years, like you said. I don't like that idea. Years without, concluding a case, and sometimes in the process, you hear nothing. But this government is working on it, and there has been appreciable record of improvement in that sector.
All right, so let's look at citizens now in Nigeria. There's also a talk about citizens' involvement in scrutiny, in engagement with public officials. A lot of citizens don't even know who their councillors are. They don't know their chairman, local government chairman, talk less of even senatorial representatives. Let's talk about, from the citizens' perspective, as somebody who was a chairman of a political party in a place like Kano.
Yes.
Are Nigerians really involved in politics, away from just voting? Are they involved in the process?
I will say yes, I will say no to this, because you see, some they don't even know that it is their right to demand for accountability. The other time when we went into the air through the group which I told you prior to this interview, that we have a group, Volunteers for Democracy, under the leadership of Alhaji Usman Alhaji, the former Secretary to Kano State Government. We say we demand accountability. We say we'll have committee to implement, going after each office, finding out what is happening, accounting, whatever. That was outcry by the government, because they are not used to that. They say we are threatening to form a parallel government. We say the shadow government exists everywhere, because maybe it's a new thing in Kano. Look at how big it is, but maybe they're hearing it for the first time. The government reported us to the Inspector General of Police. We have to go to Inspector General of Police on invitation. With them, they used some groups to be a front to them. We went. We say, okay, look at the press release we have, Mr. Assistant Inspector General of Police. You look at it. Where is incitement here? Where is breeding crisis? So he said, please go out and maintain peace, whatever. So, but me and you, like we are now talking like this, you, the media, that's why I say, if you continue with what you are doing, public enlightenment, public engagement, then gradually you will have public trust. What you need is for the public to even know their rights, even know that it is for them that everybody is there. And maybe they should stop taking 1,000 naira, 500 naira on election day, or even packet of spaghetti, and be serious on the right people.
So the people should stop taking the things you've mentioned. But some of these people, they think that this is the only time they have access to government. But let me ask you something now. Let's talk about...
First time to have access to government, Mr. Soro.
I have access to government, giving them resources. That's what some persons say. But
it's a packet of spaghetti resources? No, sir. You see, you will eat it that day. The issue is more than you are looking at it. Okay, for instance, now, there is significant decline of prices of foodstuffs. The rice that used to cost 5,000 naira per major is now 2,000, or even 6,000 before, now 2,000. The beans that sells major for 6,000, now 2,000. That's very good. Rice, maize, sorghum, beans, all these foodstuffs gradually reduce. They didn't come up just like that. It's from an airport. And the rest are going to follow, like fertilizer, because farmers are now complaining because they said they are losing. It's true, because somebody that used to sell 120,000 bag of rice, now 40,000. He must, think he must feel bad. But I'm a farmer. All this, despite these low prices, a farmer cannot be said to have lost revenue, but maybe break even. Of course, profit has reduced, but you see, it's a gradual process.
Right. So let's talk about the fact that I was asking somebody, and somebody said one of the reasons why politicians in Nigeria are corrupt is that they know they won't spend a long time in government. So they have to amass as much wealth as possible compared to civil servants who you are sure that you're going to be in service for 35 years, so you have a long time to build your life. But some politicians, you may just be in government for 4 years, for 8 years, and if you're lucky, like a few other persons, you could be in government for 16 years. Is that one of the reasons why politicians steal Nigerian money?
You see, it is about unnecessary emphasis of money. Money. Everybody is talking of money. Everybody wants to get money. This cancer, I keep calling it cancer because even the one selling tomato on the roadside is corrupt. He will put the good tomato on top of the basket, the bad ones at the bottom for you to say. When you say everything is like that, it's good from top to bottom. But when we empty it into a bag, you see the rotten ones under. So it's everybody. That's why it's a collective fight. And for the 4-year tenure, Mr. Osoro, there has to be a tenure, so that if you perform badly, you can be changed. It shouldn't be a forever. It's not a traditional stool whereby you get there then until you die. No, it is good for democracy. Okay, people are saying now Tinubu is not performing, that if he didn't perform well, they will remove him. That is even the essence of the current coalition of ADC. But the problem is, a corrupt person cannot solve a problem of corruption. That is a problem.
Oh, a corrupt person cannot solve the problem of corruption.
Of course, it's a reality, Mr. Osoro. How can you loot? How can you be part of the looting? How can you be part of the problem? And now to come back to say you will clean the table, you will do. How can you do it? Unless there is a condition. If somebody committed an offense, in both religions, either Christianity or Islam, there is repentance. Of course, if you repent and say, I have committed offense, I have repented, I seek the forgiveness of Allah, I will not do it again. Please, Nigerians, forgive me. I am now a good person. I am now a born again, or whatever. Unless they do that, and Nigerians are convinced they are true, then you can have them. But how can you be part of the problem? Only now, because you are not in the system, you turn around to say everything is going bad, right, despite the effort of the administration at putting things in their correct perspective.
Right. I'll come to questions about the ADC and the coalition, but
okay,
I'd like to still stay with the politics of corruption now.
Yeah.
And one of the things people talk about is the fact that politicians are paid way over what the average civil servant is paid, or way over what the average Nigerian receives as a minimum wage. It's 70,000 naira now, but just a few years ago was 30,000. And at 70,000, but some politicians get into office. I don't know how much you were paid as a commissioner for finance, and maybe you may not want to tell us. But
I don't mind.
but I know it was way above what maybe even a director got.
It's true. You see, let me tell you one thing, Mr. Osoro. I am in support of bringing down the salary of public servants. I'm in support. But you see, the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission has an idea that if you are paid adequately, you will not touch government money. But it's not the case. So the 70,000 minimum, yes, it's not realistic, but it's better than 30,000. Mr. Osoro. Secondly, with this same 70,000 6 months ago or last year, they are still struggling to survive. Buying rice, half bag with the entire money. Now, rice is 40,000, 50 kilogram bag. You understand? So, if the price, and from all indication, the prices will keep coming down. I'm not saying it should come down to a situation whereby the farmer will leave the farm. No. Let there be an equilibrium. An equilibrium point, according to economists, is such that the farmer, for instance, in the case of farming, farm produce, and the buyer who eats will say, oh, I'm happy with the price. That is price equilibrium. So that everybody will be happy. We are coming to that. So, Mr. Osoro, I am not in support of the huge amount of money being fed to politicians. If I would have my way, those paraphernalia will be drastically reduced down. If it will have reduced the interest and the desire to grab office at any cost. It is the office, luxury and the payments and the so-called entitlement that make people die over each other, scramble to get office at all the costs.
All right, so another question, still staying there. It's the question of the people, how the people respond to candidates when they're seeking elective offices. And some persons have also pointed out that this is why politicians' system becomes corrupt, because you go to the people, you go with consultation, and for every ward, maybe if you are trying to be a chairman, local government chairman, for every ward you visit, you need to maybe give a live goat, give some money. So for those who don't have these resources, how do you now mobilize the people? And it seems that we're having an elite capture of our politics, or money politics.
If the masses will help themselves and understand the situation, that only a competent person, a merited person can do it, and they know him among themselves. Any good person is known in the community. Any good person, any responsible person, any trusted person. The thieves, the rocks, they are there, they are known. Somebody will come with millions, you don't even know from where he got them. I don't like that idea. I would wish, you see, you spend money in politicking. It's true, there should be money. But during the PRP days, even though somebody will say this is not PRP, this is not NPN or whatever, but during those days, you see, there are money that are necessary. Logistics, transportation, fuel costs, all those things. They should come from the people, like we used to do when we were young during the PRP days. They should come from the people. In America, they spend millions and millions, and America is the father of democracy. They spend millions, but people agree to pull resources together to fund that particular person. Look at Obama, for instance. He has no money. Look at how he won. Even the proceeds from the contribution was excessive, that he turned it into a foundation. That is how things should be. I'm not saying it is easy, Mr. Osoro, but it is possible. Particularly with the sufferings now, particularly with the lessons learned now, we should endeavor to do the right thing, to reduce emphasis on money. Since the issue of money is not taking anybody anywhere, people are regretting. He will stop seeing you because he has paid you. He will lock his door for you because what are you looking for? You ask for so amount, I paid. Maybe some of them even go to the extent of collecting loan to run for office, which is very unfortunate. So he will recoup his money, recoup profit before he will start thinking of what to give to people. Yes, but infrastructure is better than giving money, Mr. Osoro. Yes,
let's talk about our institutions in Nigeria. We have some institutions that are saddled with the responsibility of fighting corruption. Institutions like the ICPC, like the EFCC, and then even the Nigerian police force. Have these institutions fought democracy well? Institutions in Nigeria, have they been up and doing as regards their fight against corruption in the country?
Mr. Osoro, there is a long way to go, honestly. Let me be honest with you. The police are trying. Only recently, I understand there is going to be a withdrawal of police with BIPs. now Mr. President had ordered for recruitment. The issue of insufficiency in policing is there. You see, where people do some calculation, they will say a policeman per so amount of people or per community.
Yes.
We don't have that. You see, if you will have 10 times the police we have now, they will work better. That is a reality. But I'm happy now that there is a window to have more police officers recruited so that they will police very well, more military men, according to what I read in the news, and it is an ongoing thing. But the most important thing is professionalizing the police and other security. Let them be trained adequately through modern techniques so that they will perform wonderfully. Let their welfare be taken care of properly. Let the Police Service Commission sit down and assess the situation very well and give it a boost. And the bad ones, let them be removed. Corruption is serious in the police force. There is no doubt about that. But I think if all things are being taken into cognizance with respect to the restructuring ongoing, we will have some.
Right. So, as you from your time in the public sector, can you talk about some examples and maybe some reforms you implemented to actually kickstart the process of accountability in the public sector?
Yes. You see, it needs a lot of things. First of all, when I was in finance ministry, I selected my team. The same thing in budget. Select a team, set a goal, work on the goal. In Peru, that is Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi, I was chairman, board of directors. We did things according to them that nobody did. We did wonderful. But you know, sometimes you have to quarrel with somebody somewhere. Right. So we have a lot of misunderstanding with the then minister, now late Chief of Bonaya Onu, on an appointment of a director general whose tenure expired. Incidentally, and unfortunately, the person who is supposed to be there or to be nominated has an issue on his certificate. Just like this Mr. Naji of the Ministry of Science and Tech, like a coincidence. He schooled in Benin Republic, and after years, the Ministry of Education now said it had banned certificates from those foreign schools. We discovered it since 2020. We discovered that because we went to Benin, we went again, we sent a delegation, we saw there is a problem. We wrote to the minister after the board decided, and we refused the man because he has been using a wrong certificate. He has been earning promotion wrongly. I will not mention name. You understand? So it's a very serious thing. We were called to Abuja. We went several times. We said no. We are bored. Our job is about recruitment, promotion, discipline, and whatever. And we stood our ground, and it remained. You need courage. I was lucky my members are upright members of the board because all of them are professors. One of them was even a vice chancellor in Obafemi Awolowo University. He happens to be my member. You understand? Professor Abdul Saburi, very nice man. So we put it to end, and we got the second person to act. Unfortunately, our tenure expired. But you know what, Mr. Osoro? All these things, Gani Power Me Foundation was watching. There was a Gani Power Me Foundation with support from an American, body, MacArthur organization. They are supporting people with that kind of courage to stand despite the pressure. They give me an award. We were in Lagos into a very robust celebration in a 5-star hotel. They were happy for me, for us. Because we stood our ground. They gave me the certificate. They gave me the plaque. They gave me the certificate of honor that we dared, the authority on doing the right thing. It was how many years now? This thing came up, and then everybody realized that there are certificate issues in some of the foreign schools, particularly Benin Republic. So it can be done. You need the courage, you need the capacity, you need the focus, you need the resilience. We did it. People are surprised. We did it.
Yes. Absolutely. Let's go for a short break, and when we'll come back, we'll talk about your party, the APC. It seems to be having a lot of contentions as some Nigerian political leaders feel it's not the party for Nigerians heading into 2027. But that will be discussed as we'll come back. Let's go for this short break. We'll be right back. This is Victor.
Thank you, Mr. Osoro. Thank you.
Welcome back to the program. If you're just joining us, this is Big Talk, a program where we'll highlight political issues concerning Nigeria. Tonight on the show with us is Ibrahim Gwozo, who is former chairman, board of directors, Federal Institute of Industrial Research, a former commissioner for finance, commissioner for environment, commissioner for budget, commissioner for commerce in Kano State, who's joined us live for the program tonight as we look at accountability and promoting transparency and citizen trust in Nigeria. That's what we're actually looking at tonight on the program. And thank you so much, Mr. Gwozo, for staying with us. I'd like to ask about your party now,
yes,
the
sir.
APC.
The APC.
The APC came in with a promise in 2015, 2014, the campaign on the tripartite promises of ending corruption. It was a big deal, economy and insecurity. And this is 12 years after that, or 10 years after that.
Yes.
Has the APC performed well in looking at those indices?
Thank you, Mr. Osoro. I will say the performance is appreciable, though there is so much work to be done. But if you look at the beginning of the problem, when it escalated from Boko Haram, Borno, kidnapping, bombing, you don't hear bombs now. You don't hear bombs now. And you see, the problem is allowing it to have gone to a certain level that it attracts even unimaginable people or even countries or whatever for so many interests. Let me tell you, even this issue of saying that there was Christian genocide is one of those things that they want to put pressure on Nigeria because Nigeria is now emerging. So if you have resources and you decide to look after your resources, or you decide to clean your house, it's no longer a business with some people, or with some nations even, or with some bodies, you will have problem like we're having. When the issue of country or particular concern came up, people were, comparing. Say, oh, we're finished. Oh, there will be problem. Trump want to attack Nigeria. I just laughed. You don't attack just like that. You see, you have the Dangote refinery, which is now going for 1.2 million barrels a day from 650,000. Definitely, some government will not be happy because you have, shut down a way they are earning money. You now process your crude oil. You now sell it. It's a very big thing. And so many others are coming up. Boa is coming up with a so many. Akwa Ibom. So, and when you decide to remove the fuel subsidy and you are now boosting, and now the whole world is turning into Nigeria because they saw some element of seriousness. They say now it's good for investment. Look at the subscription that was offered, the Eurobond, offer that was plotted, $2.35 million, oversubscribed. Why? Because investors now have confidence in Nigeria. Mr. Osoro. The World Bank, some will tell you, what business do they have with IMF? What business do they have? Why am I talking about IMF or World Bank? But it's a reality. Because you have macroeconomy, you have microeconomy. So the macro is the one at the top level, which will come down to the level of the common man for his food. Of course, just give him food and he's okay. Give him security and he's okay. So you see, my problem is the opposition, that, like you're trying to say, are pushing down to the masses, to the throat of the masses, sentimental things.
But the APC did some. I remember the APC spokesperson at the time. I'm trying to remember his name, a former Minister of Information.
Lai Mohammed.
What
was he saying?
As an APC spokesperson, he spoke a lot about the PDP government and running down on their programs and policies.
But you see, not to the extent of playing religion with it, not the extent of playing security with it, not the extent of, if you issue-based, I prepare the opposition to play it on issue-based so that we will find our bearing very well. But you see, look at Mr. President closely. Whenever an issue come up and the opposition, and even from inside, say, please, Mr. President, change this, he will change it. Look at the tax reforms. Look at so many things are now going to drop because of the pressure. And it was deliberate. Not that all taxes will remain. When things stabilize, you drop some. You have to allow some breathing space. At least now, it's not by accident that prices came down. It's by deliberate action. It's not by accident. So, you see, when Mr. President summoned the courage, if you remember, he just said it during his speech. That is very courageous. Fuel subsidy withdrawal. That singular statement. If he had waited, if he had taken his time, it wouldn't have been. So the pains we are going through now is like you take medicine that is bitter and you bear with the bitterness so that you get cured. Right. That is a problem.
Okay, so I see you talking about your party, the APC, and now we have a gathering of prominent Nigerians, influential Nigerians, political titans, you like to call them so, because the former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, who at least at the last election had 8 million votes in the bag, right? And we also have a former governor of Anambra State, a former 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, 6 million votes, first-time presidential contestants, and a former Senate President David Mark, of course, that's Raul Varabishola, and a lot of other names that time may not permit me to mention now. A former coalition against your party, and one of the things they are talking about is the fact that the APC government is corrupt and is ruining Nigerians' finances and Nigerians' patron money. How do you respond to that?
Mr. Soro, you see, problem is this. There is a problem. Yeah, all you have said is true. Crisis, corruption, whatever. My take is this. If you are part of the problem, you have no moral responsibility to say you will correct the problem. All these people you mentioned are part of the problem. We had during the PDP and even during the APC government of late Muhammad Buhari. So if you are part of the problem, you can hardly solve the problem. Of course, governors, ministers, National Assembly members, all of them are coming to the APC because keying into the good projects of Mr. President is the only thing. Because money is now coming double, 3 times to states for infrastructure. My only worry, the governors, like I said, are not doing the right thing at the level of the local governments. You go to local government, you will cry. No money, nothing in the name of joint project. Like I say, I keep repeating because that is the main issue now. Hold your governors accountable, not Mr. President. The governors should allow the local governments to operate because they are as autonomous as them. There was even a court ruling, Supreme Court ruling, that they should be allowed space to operate independently, autonomously. And the governors are not letting go. There was even a committee, a presidential implementation committee chaired by George Akume, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Yet, they are not giving in. The pressure should be on governors, not Mr. President. I'm not saying they should not allow pressure to Mr. President. But you see, PDP was second during the last election. Labour Party was third, with all the millions you said. But where is the millions now? When governors came in with their members of the legislature, with their structure, with the party structure as a whole, with all the followers, with all the people, they say leave them. No problem. I hope no problem for them.
But Peter Obi had no structure at the time. Peter Obi had no structure. He just came out, the Labour Party.
But why aren't people not electing Labour Party, even in off-cycle elections, even in rerun? Why the Labour Party did not perform even in Anambra, the home state of Peter Obi? Why did Peter Obi, in his unit, got only 57 votes? Only 57. Something is wrong, Mr. Osoro. So, you see, that's the question you ask. Even I am also asking, if you have a second party with these millions, why leave it? Something is wrong. If you are number 3 in the line of the opposition, Labour Party, Peter Obi, why leave it and come to something ADC new that could not even get their acts together? Why? There are even 3 leaders now claiming leadership in the ADC, in the new party. What is the problem? How can somebody who could not get his house in order come and say, okay, he wants to correct Nigeria? And he's part of the problem of Nigeria. And he didn't ask Nigeria.
Peter Obi is part of Nigeria's problem?
Of course, he was governor. Wasn't he a governor?
But he said he did his best in the states. And
then people, the Anambrans, should have shown it to him during the election. If he did well, if they appreciated. So, Nigerians are wiser. I'm saying there is problem, and I'm saying Tinubu can do it, and I'm telling you, these people have no capacity to do it.
Right, Nasir El-Rufai, former minister of the FCT, and we talk about this time. Till today, people still mention him. That during his time as minister of the FCT, he revolutionized the way the FCT looks, and is a go-getter, a first-class product. Are you not bothered that he has left President?
He can be a goal setter, but maybe not a goal getter. You know why? Elections was conducted in Zaria, 3 elections, by-elections, or rerun election, just recently. And he was there. Mala El-Rufai was there, going around, talking, giving money, campaigning, day and night, throughout. What is the result? Are you saying now they like him or they like ADC in Kaduna State or in Zaria and they refuse to vote for their candidate? What kind of politics are we? If you have people in the new party, show it from now. They are waiting for 2027. What is the problem with now? If you talk, they say they are going for one party. Tinubu wants to make one party. Everything one party. What is one party? Okay, when Sulalami took PDP to court, was it Tinubu that asked him to take them to court? This is a problem. They cannot get their house in order.
They are saying that Tinubu is empowering your president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our president, of course. But your party member is empowering the minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, who is a PDP member. Is being empowered by the APC government to foment some form of disunity in the party.
Why can't they gather money to empower themselves to fight his power? if you are talking of money, they have money, all of them. They are multi-billionaires. So many have questions involving hundreds of billions of naira. It's not like that, Mr. Osoro. It's not like that, honestly. You see, that's why I say issue-based campaign would have been the best. The problem is They cannot do it. They are not ready to do it. Why? Because they are mixing it up with 2015 merger. A merger is different from coalition, Mr. Osoro. A merger is fusion of parties with all the paraphernalia of that party into one to a formidable, strong entity. Like ACN, Bola Tinubu, with his support, with his base, Southwest almost entirely, Muhammadu Buhari from the north. We came from CPC with everything as a strong bloc. And then, some PDP governors even that time. You understand? Even GDN or GD, something like that. So many big parties agreed to come in toto to form a merger. That's how we form merger. But where Peter Obi will come alone, he didn't say he's coming with anybody. You didn't see him coming with anybody. Even last week, it was when Atiku decided to get his card. Nothing. I don't know why when they left PDP, or when he was saying the Labour Party cannot perform, why are you saying it will perform?
Right. So as we try to end the program now, I'd just like to ask, you worked closely with former president, late President Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes.
And he's no more. How does his legacy speak to you in just 1 minute? And how do you remember him fondly as we end the program now?
You see, Mr. Soro, I think President Buhari died an honorable person. And sometimes people only think you are good when you are not there. They are now seeing what he has done. They are saying how they wish he would have come back. Just like when they will say to Tinubu at the end of his tenure, they are not praising now. Many are not happy because the measure he took is eaten deep into the body fabric of the public. That is the pains to endure. All nations went through such, trials. You have to suffer before you get, to the promised land, Mr. Osoro. So we, as a group, decided now to say, Mr. President, now that the late President Buhari is not there, you are the father of all. We are there. We are with you. We will help. We will continue with prayers. We will engage. We will educate like we are doing now. And that is what we are doing. You see, there are so many people. Some felt aggrieved. They broke away a small fraction, a very small fraction. Of course, they are now regretting. Because the thing to do now is FEC.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim Gwarzo, former CPC, defunct CPC chairman, Kano, former commissioner in different ministries, budgets, finance, environment, and commerce in Kano State, and also the patron and coordinator for the North West APC support group. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Soro. Can you see now, because of that crisis in the U.S., Nigeria, there is an issue of appointing ambassadors in good time. Sometimes,
although we're out of program, we're out of time. Although I've not seen Akwa Ibom. There's no ambassador from Akwa Ibom.
No, it will to be announced later. It's the first.
Okay, to be announced.
First space, yeah. First
stage. We need to see even from Kano.
Yeah, that will be. I'm sure that will be. Thank you very much.
All right, so that's the size of our program for tonight. Do remember that we must be accountable and we must be transparent in our dealings. Nigeria must succeed. My name is Ubongo Sora in Abuja, and I'm saying bye for now.